Hey everybody, it's Andrew back again with another video, and today we have the review of the Dell Inspiron 13 7000 series. It has the updated Skylake processor, Core i7, and stepped up performance. Let's find out if it's a buy or a don't buy. This arrived a couple of weeks ago in our studio where we unboxed it. It's the Dell Inspiron 13 7000 series, gold color, and I gotta say, so far I've been very impressed. It's a 13-inch Ultrabook style, yoga style device that flips back into tablet mode. You could do tent mode, media mode, and of course laptop mode. Now, as far as ports are concerned, let's see what you get. You have your power button here, your volume rocker up and down there, one of your two side-firing speakers, your USB 3.1, your full-size SD card slot. This sits flush in the device. Good job, Dell. And we'll talk about this in a second. It's a capacitive stylus that is stowed in the device itself. You get a webcam over here, and you have a Windows button over there. On the other side, you get your Kensington lock port, your power port, your full-size HDMI out, two more USB 3.1, microphone headphone jack, and your other side-firing speaker. On the front, there is nothing except an indicator light over there as far as charging is concerned. And on the back, you have your two metal hinges for the yoga style functionality, and then you have your vent for cooling there. It's got a matte gold finish. This also comes in silver, and it really is very premium, very solid. I'm not sure. I think this is plastic, but I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. It could be aluminum, actually. It's plastic on the bottom, I think, and I kept the plastic on here. I will eventually take that off. You have screws. I think you can access the bottom on this, but as far as build quality, this is really very, very solid. I'm really impressed. Okay, let's take a look at the device itself. Now, opening it up into laptop mode reveals the keyboard. It's black island style, chiclet style keys. It is backlit. It is excellent. It does have good key travel. And I got to tell you, it's one of the better keyboards I've used in a long time. Really, really enjoying this keyboard. Trackpad is not a glass trackpad, unlike the Dell XPS 13. It actually has some sort of texture to it. It actually works pretty well. Not quite as good as the XPS 13's glass trackpad, but this is just a step below. Does work well. Windows 10 gestures work well. Everything works pretty good on this so far. Keyboard and trackpad do not disappoint, and I'm really especially fond of the keyboard. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Now let's turn the device on. Let's take a look at some of what you get as far as performance is concerned. Now, this is running the Core i7 Skylake processor. That's the 6500U variant, which is the stepped up version from the Core i5 that we found in the Dell XPS 13 that we just did the review. It does have good color representation, good color saturation. It does get pretty bright. Now, it's not the brightest screen in the world, but some people are saying it's too dim. I didn't find that. I actually found it pretty bright, and using it in certain environments, you definitely see it's crisp, it pops. It's, again, one of the better 1080p panels I've seen. It's got really excellent viewing angles. You don't have to be directly on it. The side viewing angles are very good. So far, so good as far as I'm concerned, as far as the display is concerned. Now, let's take a look at some of the benchmarks. As you can see from the Geekbench test, it did a 2700 on the single core score and a 5852 on the multi-core score. That's a very good score, although not quite as good as the Dell XPS 13 with the Core i5, which is a little bit surprising. But this is a Core i7. It's running the Skylake processor, running at 2.60 gigahertz. But as far as performance is concerned, this can do gaming. This can be an all-around general purpose laptop. It could do gaming, it could do video processing, it can do Photoshop. It has enough horsepower. So I'm really impressed with this device. Now let's take a look at the SSD. And as you can see here, it did a 549 on the read and a 484.2 on the write, 29.71 in the 4K read and a 102.1 on the 4K write. These are not as good scores as obviously as the Dell XPS 13 that we just reviewed, and we're going to show you in the head-to-head showdown between the two why the difference in the two. Now, one of the reasons being is it has a different kind of SSD than the Dell XPS 13, which uses the NVMe, which is a much faster SSD. If you go to the disk drives, it is using a Micron M600 2.5 7mm 256 gigabyte SSD, and it's not quite as good as the Samsung NVMe that the Dell XPS 13 with Skylake processor we just reviewed has. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a big discrepancy between the SSD used in the Dell XPS 13 and the one used here in the Inspiron 13. But it's still good overall. In fact, it has a better read-write speed than the Dell XPS 13, which was rather disappointing. In order to test the audio quality and whether or not this device can play 4K video, let's take a look and a listen at our latest video, which is the unboxing of the Chewy HiBook with its keyboard dock, first impressions video that we just released the other day. So let's take a look and a listen to see how the Inspiron 13, as far as audio quality is concerned, how it sounds. Take a listen.
Hey everybody, it's Andrew back again with another video, and today we have another unboxing. Just arrived in our studio is the Chewy HiBook 10.1-inch 2-in-1 tablet. It will compete with a TechLast T10. Let's find out if it's the king of the 2-in-1s. Let's find out what's inside the box.
As you can see and as you can hear, it had no problem running 4K YouTube video, and it did sound very good. It had good sound, rich sound, not quite as good as the Dell XPS 13 as far as richness, but it did get a little bit louder actually. So excellent speakers on the Inspiron 13. Good job, Dell. So far, really impressed with this laptop. Now, as far as battery is concerned, the Inspiron 13 7000 series did okay. It did manage to get around 7 to 8 hours, and that's with the brightness at around 60 to 70%. Now, I do like to run my screens a little bit brighter, so I'm seeing more like 5.5 to 6 hours because I like to run it more or less at full brightness. This is one of the better 1080p panels that I've seen. It does get pretty bright, not the brightest thing in the world, but it does get bright enough for my taste. And the screen color representation, the color accuracy, it's all spot on. Now, as far as the battery is concerned, if you are more aggressive with your power saving, you turn the screen down, you turn off some of the radios, such as Bluetooth, if you're not using it, you will get about another hour out of this. So I have not been disappointed at all with this, and it is a little bit better as expected. It is actually a little bit better than I expected. I'm getting, again, 7 to 8 hours depending on the usage. So keep that in mind when thinking about purchasing this device. Now, this being a yoga style device, that means it has a hinge or two hinges, one right here and one right there. And it allows it to go into tablet mode, as you see here. There's also what we call tent mode, like that. And by the way, when you put it in tablet or tent mode, the keyboard and trackpad are disabled. Therefore, you will not get any inadvertent mouse gestures or keyboard stroke. So as far as the keyboard is concerned, it does get deactivated. The trackpad gets deactivated. You will not have any problem running it in tablet mode or tent mode, as you can see here. And there's another mode I call media mode, and that's like this. Great for watching movies, or if you have a recipe in the kitchen. Excellent for propping it up and using it in this viewing angle. Good job, Dell. And as far as the hinge is concerned, it's very steady. It's held up since I've had it a couple of weeks. So good job, Dell, as far as engineering, construction. Good job as overall package. Now, another nice little bonus, I think, in this device is the fact that it comes with a capacitive stylus, which is stored on the side over there. And it is not a smart stylus, as I would say. I call it more of a dumb stylus. It doesn't have any kind of battery in it. It doesn't have any kind of Wacom or Wacom or an N-Trig or any of the other styli that we've been seeing, or any of the pens we've been seeing, such as the Surface Pro 4 has. And this one is just a plain old stylus. Now, you can argue that they should have included a proper stylus with a battery and say good drivers and so forth, and this way you'll get palm rejection and everything else you'd get in a smart stylus, as I would say. But you know what? I'm not going to ding them on this. The fact that they include this does come in handy. It's great for scrolling, by the way, and say you're in Edge. Let me go to Edge for a second, and you can scroll around, as you can see here, and it works very good. So, you know, as far as pinpoint accuracy, it's not going to be the most accurate thing in the world. As far as drawing is concerned, you're going to have to keep in mind, again, there's no pressure sensitivity, so you're not going to be able to do thicker or less thick lines depending on the amount of, there's no pressure sensitivity, in other words. So it does work well. And I'm not, you know, obviously you can draw, you can do whatever you want, but again, you're not going to get the same as you would get, say, in the Surface Pen. Let's take a look. If I rest my hand on the screen, you see no palm rejection. And look, where I rested my palm or my hand made some errant marks. So I'm not going to ding them for not including a more proper stylus. But for this price and the fact that you have that in there for convenience purposes, and then when you're in a pinch and you want to jot down a note or two in a meeting and you can flip it back into tablet mode, it does work well. Now, there is one problem that I did have with this device, and it had to do with its Wi-Fi and its Wi-Fi drivers. When I set it up, it was very flaky as far as Wi-Fi. It would get connected, lose the connection, and I'd have to do random restarts. Now, the thing about it is I was able to download a proper driver from the Dell's website, and I was able to install it on this device. And since I've done that, it's worked flawlessly. I've not lost any connection, and it's worked as advertised. So just something to keep in mind. It's an easy fix, but something you will have to deal with potentially out of the box. So not a good thing, Dell. I wish Dell would have addressed this early on and got this working properly out of the box. It's very frustrating for users who don't know a lot about how to install drivers and so forth to have to deal with this. And it was very frustrating, even for someone like me who is a little bit more experienced in these kind of things. And I was able to get it remedied by downloading the proper driver. So overall, is the Dell Inspiron 13 7000 series a buy or a don't buy? I'm going to have to say it's a buy. I like the fact that you get a very good, high quality, premium looking device with excellent specs, excellent performance, and an overall good value in a very nice package. And let me tell you something, I'm really liking that beautiful gold finish that the Dell uses. It's very understated, it's very muted, but it's also very classy. The build construction is very good, the battery life is very good, the sound is very good, and the overall performance can't be beat. This is a great value, ladies and gentlemen. For about $800, you're getting a Core i7 Skylake with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of SSD, a capacitive stylus that is stowed within the device itself, and a really overall nice package. So how can you go wrong? Well, it's not all great with this device. Of course, there are a few things that can be improved and should be improved in the next iteration. First, I'd like to see an actual active stylus like you would get, say, in the Lenovo ThinkPad 460 that we unboxed and reviewed a couple of months ago and really liked. It would be nice if they used a Wacom or Wacom digitizer on this device, obviously with pressure sensitivity and palm rejection. That would be great, especially for those note takers, those digital artists that are looking for a value computer that's versatile, that also can handle the task at hand. As an all-purpose laptop, this thing is a definite buy. So please leave any comments in the comment section below. Let me know anything else you want to know about this device or any other device for that matter. I will try to make that happen. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share this video. And until next time, this is Andrew. See ya.